Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle Hoss. And in this video, we got to talk about some recent announcements, some recent rumors going on, because we have two of my favorite characters of all time being talked about coming to the MCU. So in this video, we got to kind of talk about those rumors. We got to kind of break it down. We got to get back to our regularly scheduled programming here. I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering what's going on with the stolen comic books based on my previous couple videos. I will have more video updates for that later on, just going through the hoops of a lot of different things still with that whole process. But, you know, I still wanted to make comic book content videos. I mean, we can't have it all be, you know, about the scam stuff. So I will put out updates when I have them to be shared on this channel. But until then, I also still want to do, you know, the usual stuff. We got to talk about what's going on here in this video with the recent rumors. I will certainly have my hot list coverage come next week, and I'll have unboxings and things like that. So we got to get back to this here. And these particular announcements were ones that I felt like were too juicy to not actually discuss. I mean, one of them has already been kind of multiple days in the works. I'm sure you guys already know about all of the Mephisto stuff, but the Silver Surfer one is actually very, very fresh. So I am excited to kind of break it all down for you guys, and let's talk about maybe some of the books that might be moving or be of interest to the market very soon. But before I get into the video, if you guys could drop me a like or a comment or subscribe if you're enjoying the content, help support the channel, do one of those things, I would appreciate it. But let's get into this video here today. All right, first things we got to talk about is, of course, the big news. Now, we have two kind of, I guess you would call them cosmic characters. At least I sort of fancy them as cosmic characters, or at least I fancy Mephisto in a way as a cosmic character because he has so many ties to the character of the Silver Surfer. And it was just a few days ago that we got this announcement from Deadline of all places that apparently the rumor is that Mephisto is going to be coming to the MCU, played by Sacha Baron Cohen, and is going to make his debut in the Riri Williams Ironheart TV show. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking there's no way that would actually be the case. I mean, Mephisto has been sort of the meme character to be coming to the MCU for all this time. And then the fact that you have, you know, Ollie G playing Mephisto as well, it just sort of feels like there's no way that this could actually be true. But one of the things that's interesting about this rumor is that it is in fact being reported on by Deadline. And as you guys know, I'm out here in the Los Angeles area. I work in entertainment. And so you guys are probably thinking like, hey, Swag, so like, what have you heard on the streets with this rumor? Well, let me just put it this way to you guys, okay? Look me in my eye and ask me the question. Do I think that this is untrue? Do you see me blinking right now? Okay, that was a real blink that I just had to do. But point remains, I absolutely believe that this is true. I definitely think that this is true, and so does the market, because when we got this announcement, of course, Silver Surfer #3 from 1968 is the first appearance of Mephisto, and this is actually one of the books that did move quite a lot in the market, so much so that it has recently appeared on the Key Collector Trending 20 list, which is definitely a testament to a Silver Age book. So a lot of times when you have like the Key Collector, like trending list, or even cover price and stuff, like it obviously is very easy for modern books or Copper Age books to show up on those lists because the volume of transactions is often going to be a lot higher. The census is going to be a lot higher. So it's easier for people to, you know, FOMO buy those sort of $15 to $20 purchases for books like that. So anytime you have a book like this one right here, a Silver Age book, you know, it's still a pricey book. Like even at the low grade, you're probably gonna have to spend like $200 or so. So definitely impressive that a book like this moved as much as it did in the market. But there were in fact quite a few sales, quite a few FOMO buys over the course of these last few days or so. And if we go on here to GPA, we can actually kind of show that there actually have been quite a few October sales. Like if I just scrub through, you can see October, 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 October. Across most of the grades, the last sale definitely still did occur due to the FOMO, but what you won't see is a lot of record prices being sold. This is definitely a book that I feel like has had one of the biggest drop-offs, one of the biggest corrections of all the books in the market, due to the fact that this is one of the ones that was on the front lines of the explosion on Disney Plus because it was so speculated on with WandaVision. You can see right here at the 9.6 grade at the high end. I mean, just look at the graph right here. I mean, average price in January of 2021, $16,000. Somebody actually bought this book for $16,000 back in February of 2021. Recent sale for this one actually was $7,500. So basically half price overall. I mean, that sale all the way back then was just simply way too high. It just, look at, I mean, the graph is just unsustainable that it went from a $5,000 book to, you know, a $16,000 book overnight. And now where we had that recent sale, we're actually kind of back in the trend line if you guys have been watching my Silver Age Index videos. But one of the things I think is interesting with this is if you go down here to the 7.0, this can kind of give us a good sense of how the market is sort of reacting to this kind of, I don't know if you want to call it like FOMO news or speculation news, when it is pertaining to characters and books that are, you know, at this level of expense. So we had this news come on October 17th, and you can see that there were actually 3 buys on that actual same day. And typically what you would see in this situation is you would think that the buys would get more expensive throughout the day, but that's actually not what happens. So the first one we had on October 17th at the 7.0 range was a purchase of $750. Then it went to $800. Then it went to $690. So what often happens, I think, with these, you know, situations where, you know, we hear this news, okay, Sacha Baron Cohen is going to be playing Mephisto. Yes, there are people who are going to eBay and hitting buy it now right away, but there's also a lot of sellers that are immediately uploading their books onto eBay. So I think kind of where we are, a lot of the speculation price has been priced into a lot of these books. And I don't necessarily think that just because we get these announcements, we're going to be getting these record highs. I think that it's going to be a while before we really start to see these new spikes. I mean, I feel like 2023 is going to be the year of a lot of this type of behavior where you will see an increase in demand and an increase in the like sort of liquidity of the book, but that doesn't mean it's going to be hitting its all new record highs. And you can actually see this is a book that has been correcting throughout the year. It's more sort of in line to just the Silver Age Index overall than it has anything to do with the speculation factor for this book. It's just a matter of like when you get the announcement, all of a sudden you're going to sell 3 copies on the same day versus 1 copy in September, 1 copy in August, 1 copy in July. So it increases the volume, but it doesn't necessarily increase the price. But as we learn more about this rumor, there are other interesting books that I think, you know, could be those ones that really start to get hot in the market. Now, I'm not saying that you out there should be making purchases of this thing, but these are the types of books that I think you could still find in your LCS, you know, in those back bins and so on and so forth. And there'll probably be books that might get hot depending on what kind of stories and what kind of stuff we get with the Mephisto character. Of course, we have Mephisto #1 from 1987. This was a limited series by Mephisto. He had 4 issues in this, where in each issue he went up against various teams like the X-Men, Avengers, etc. But I think this one right here, the #1 issue, especially with Fantastic Four, is going to be the one that at some point will get a little bit of heat in the market. There definitely were a few purchases for this book coming off the heels of the announcement, about, you know, 7 or 8, which is definitely more than what you would normally see with this book, but it's not necessarily one that has sort of caught the market by storm yet. Additionally, we talked about this earlier in the video, the Hood #1. I think that this is where you're going to see the Mephisto connection. It will be interesting to think about, okay, are we going to see a lot of Mephisto in the Ironheart show, or is it just going to be kind of a, you know, tease reveal at the end that the Hood has been working for Mephisto this entire time? And then it sort of begs the question, like, what is the purpose of the MCU bringing in Mephisto? Like, what can they do with him story-wise? And in my opinion, I think it all leads to Doctor Doom, where, of course, we think that Doctor Doom might be coming very, very soon in a certain movie that might be being released very, very soon. But this one right here, Astonishing Tales #8, this is the first time that Doctor Doom and Mephisto technically meet. This is actually the first appearance of Doctor Doom's mother. And if you guys happen to know the story, Doctor Doom's mother is like, her soul is trapped by Mephisto. So Doctor Doom and Mephisto kind of have this long ongoing sort of rivalry, so to speak, so much so that you can see in Christopher Cantwell's current Doctor Doom run, which a lot of people have enjoyed the series. A lot of people like to look at that Doctor Doom #1 issue as being like the solo title for Doom. Well, you can see in Doctor Doom #3, this is a great sort of Mephisto cover. They've sort of had this relationship for quite some time, and I definitely think that there could be some exploration between these two characters and the interplay that they might have in this coming phase. You know, I think about how, you know, if we're leading up to Secret Wars, and we're going to think that Doctor Doom is going to have that sort of God Emperor Doctor Doom persona in Secret Wars. Well, if I think about that Jonathan Hickman storyline, I think about how, you know, Mr. Sinister sort of played that major domo figure to Emperor Doom. And because we don't have Mr. Sinister, and you think back to how I bet when MCU was developing the Infinity War storyline, they were looking at that Jim Starlin source material and thinking about, oh, that'd be really fun if we had Mephisto kind of playing this character. Well, I actually think that when we get to Secret Wars, we might see Mephisto inserted into the Mr. Sinister Jonathan Hickman role, and that could be one of the reasons why they wanted to bring in this character to sort of fulfill that once we eventually get to Secret Wars. But there is, of course, the other news that we have to talk about that is related to Mephisto, and that is the rumor that the Silver Surfer is going to be having a Disney Plus special presentation for possibly his debut in the MCU, or at least his debut project in the MCU. And so this is a rumor that is kind of coming out recently. This one comes from the Cosmic Circus. Now, if you guys don't know, Cosmic Circus is kind of like a trusted rumor source. There, of course, we have these bloggers and leakers who come out with a lot of this information. Some of them are definitely very hit and miss. Some of them have decent track records. Some are more trustworthy than others, but the Cosmic Circus tends to be one that, you know, the market usually respects. And they recently announced right here, as you can see on your screen, that the Marvel Studios special presentation, or their plan is to make a Silver Surfer special presentation. So we know that Werewolf by Night kind of had that special presentation recently, and it feels like maybe Marvel's thinking that this might be a more successful formula. Probably not what they ultimately want to do, because I think they would rather have ongoing Disney Plus shows to retain subscribers, you know, on a week-to-week, a month-to-month basis. You know, the special presentations are fun. They're probably better for the creatives involved because they can focus on them and just make one great 40-minute or 60-minute show, but it's not really helpful for Disney to retain subscribers. But we'll definitely see. It'll be interesting to think about that. And I think that, you know, we all kind of know that Silver Surfer is, you know, coming to the MCU. It's only a matter of time of when they're going to show up. And of course, I think the major books to talk about are Fantastic Four number 49, first full appearance of the Silver Surfer, or I guess first, you know, true appearance of the Silver Surfer. We have Fantastic Four number 49. Oh, did I say 49 for the last one? I meant 48. You guys know what I mean. Fantastic Four 49 for this one. This would be the first cover appearance, first full Galactus, second appearance of the Silver Surfer. And then, of course, we have Silver Surfer number 1, which is the first solo series for the character, the origin of the Silver Surfer character. And I think that these tend to be the 3 books that are the kind of the main go-to books for the Silver Surfer character. But like what I was talking about with the Mephisto book, I don't necessarily think these books, like let's say tomorrow Deadline comes out and confirms, you know, who the actor is that is going to be, that Silver Surfer is going to be played by, I don't necessarily think we're going to see these books hitting record high prices once again. In fact, if anything, I still think that there's a lot of room that these books still have yet to correct to. If I look at Fantastic Four number 48 here, and I do the calculations, if you guys know, my formula has been take the 2020 price, or at least where the book was at the end of 2020, and then kind of multiply it by 15% year over year, 2 times over, to get to where we think it should be selling for today. And when I look at across most of the grades for all of these books, 48, 49, and Silver Surfer 1, I still think that there's a little bit of room that still needs to come off before we can start to find the true floor, the true kind of value for where these books should be selling. That's not to say that we can't even continue to drop, because again, there's still uncertainty in the kind of global economy, and there might be a moment in the comic book market where everyone kind of slips into sort of despair mode, and we're actually trading for less than what we should be trading for with a lot of these books. But I don't necessarily think, you know, we're going to be seeing record high prices for this thing in the coming weeks. It's kind of like the Incredible Hulk 181 when we got the Hugh Jackman announcement. Yes, that particular day and maybe a few days after, we saw a couple decent sales. We saw, you know, some FOMO buys and things like that, but it wasn't like the book, you know, tripled overnight like it was all the way back when we had the comic book boom in 2021. But like I was saying with Mephisto number 1, I do think that there are certain Silver Surfer books, particularly, you know, some of the more minor key stuff, that will be the ones that probably have the biggest sort of FOMO buys in the market. Of course, the Silver Surfer Volume 3 run has a lot of great, you know, stories and covers and speculation stuff to pull from. Maybe it'll be something like Silver Surfer number 1 from 1987, a book like like this that actually does become sort of the FOMO market buy that everyone kind of jumps on. You know, a book that, you know, was previously $10 and then all of a sudden it goes up to 25, 30, 35, etc. I think that that's kind of more the behavior of the market that we can expect for the rest of the year and probably through 2023 with these FOMO buys. I think if we do get an official casting announcement for Silver Surfer, we will see, you know, 48 sell quite a bit. We will see Silver Surfer 1 sell quite a bit, but it'll be a while before we actually start to see them eclipse their, you know, personal bests, especially since, you know, when we think about Fantastic Four number 48, one of the highest Silver Age census books, one of the reasons why it's going to have a hard time always maintaining, you know, a very, very high floor due to the fact that there's going to be so many people that are looking to sell and cash in on all the FOMO. Anyways, that is all for this video. That was me kind of talking about, you know, some of the interesting rumors. We got Mephisto probably coming. We got Silver Surfer. Looks like he's going to be coming pretty soon. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about the Silver Surfer being a special presentation? Drop me a like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and we'll see you in the next video.